outside of the house. A couple of things to point out. It is a more complex market than retail, and for the most part it's less measured, less information available. Food service in Ireland. Just a couple of figures. It represents at the moment about 25% of food spend, and that's against, for example, in the UK and in general Western Europe, 33%, and against also the US, where in fact over 50 cents of every dollar spent by Americans is on food consumed outside of home. So I suppose what those figures are saying, that even though the market within Ireland has been contracting over the past 18 months, there is scope, I would see, for that figure of 25% to increase, and it is quite likely that the Irish consumer will start to mirror what's happening in the UK and in the US. And then in terms of a value, if you're talking about what's the size of the market, in 2009 it was valued at 6.5 billion. That splits, that's for the entire island of Ireland. It splits into 4.7 billion for the Republic, 1.8 in the north. When we talk about food service, it's generally split into two sectors: commercial or profit and institutional or cost. And then within commercial and institutional, it's further split into what are known as channels. So just to give you an idea of everything we're talking about. So quick service restaurants, or QSR, essentially fast food, so your McDonald's, your Supermacs, Eddie Rockets, etc. Then you have full service restaurants, FSR, so these are restaurants where you have table service. Within that we also talk about casual dining, which is kind of somewhere in between and seems to be doing quite well at the moment. You've got hotels that are serving foods, you have pubs and coffee shops. Within leisure, we're talking about catering for the likes of events at the Aviva Stadium, the Convention Centre, Punchestown races, so a wide spectrum. And within travel then you're talking about food consumed on board airlines, trains, ferries. When we talk about institutional or cost sector, business and industry, so that's all workplace restaurants. Some of the big players that you might be familiar with in there would be the likes of Sodexo, Aramark, Compass. They'd be the big three international players that would hold a large size of the market in Ireland. You've got people like Baxter Story. You have some of the smaller groups, Irish-owned companies like Corporate Catering and so on. Education, secondary schools and third-level institutes, all the universities, and then health, so that's the HSE, but it's also private hospitals, it's nursing homes, and you're talking about prisons and the army as well. So, as I mentioned, quite complex, diverse, and from a supply point of view, it is important to, I suppose, understand the different channels, and from the outset understand, with regard to your product, where potential opportunities might lie. And as part of the training programs we've done this year and last, certainly we would say to all companies, it's very unlikely that your product will fit all channels, but identify the ones where you have most likely opportunities for success and focus on them and learn a bit more about them. Talk to the key players there. That's how it breaks down. So you can see that 6.5 billion, the lion's share, or 88%, is going to commercial, and then the remaining 12% from the cost sector. 73% food, with the remaining 27% beverages. And this organised versus independent, that refers to the chains that are out there. So the Irish food service market is still very fragmented. Only 14% of the market is actually made up of chains. That would be unlike the UK, for example, where you have some of the very big chain restaurants, pub groups and so on. So still 86% being comprising independent outlets. I'm not going to go through these figures, just to put them up there and to flag that they are available in this report. If you don't have a copy of it, I have more copies here, please take one today. It's something that we commissioned last year, a company called Pro-Intel, and they split down the market by channel. Not surprisingly, from 2003 to 2008 there was a large growth mirroring the booming economy, and then 2008 to 2009 a sharp decline. That will have continued into 2010. So what we're doing at the moment, Pro-Intel are updating all of these figures, so we'll have actual figures for 2010, and then we'll have predicted sales up until 2015 by channel. That will be published at a seminar on the 16th of November, so another date for your diary, another Board BA event, but I'll talk a little bit about that now. We'll have an opportunity at that event to present the latest figures. Marketplace 2012, I will be targeting over 100 buyers, and they will be from some of the key distributor wholesalers, the likes of Palace, Musgrave, breaks in Ireland, Northern Ireland, Larousse Foods. And then on the operation side, we'll be talking to some of the chains, to the coffee shops, to the hotels, the likes of the workplace caterers, event caterers. In 2010 Marketplace, there were over 50 Irish food service buyers attended, and certainly the target will be to match and increase on that for 2012. So as we start to, in fact, we've already been out talking to a number of them as part of this research project. It's in a lot of their calendars already. We will be doing further recruitment as we head towards the date, and you'll be getting further updates as to who's been confirmed as attending. Just to let you know what's already out there if you're not aware, and it's free of charge to all client companies. On a monthly basis, I circulate a food service newsletter. If you're not, it goes out to about 1,000 contacts. If you're not on the circulation list, please let me know. There are also back issues or archives on the Board BA website, so you can flick back and review at any stage. Similarly, we send out a global food service trends bulletin. That's 2 to 3 times per year. And it looks at what's happening at operator, at product and at consumer level in food service markets around the globe. And I suppose more importantly, what those trends mean for Irish suppliers, so the implications. They're also available on the website under our information section. And this report I mentioned, updated for 16th of November. This, another big telephone directory, but it is an important document or report. If you don't have it, please pick up a copy today. It's basically a who's who. So there are over 100 profiles in here. The first half of the directory is all about the chain operators right across from coffee shops to prisons, who they are, what their business is, where there may be opportunities for Irish companies, how you contact them. And the second half of the directory is about the distributors and wholesalers who service them. So we're updating that at the moment as well. James Burke and his team are updating the profiles, and it'll be available for the 16th of November. That's the date. The venue has not been confirmed, but it's likely to, it will be on the outskirts of Dublin. In fact, it's likely to be the Crown Plaza in Swords. So I'll be using my food service newsletter to update people with information. We'll also do a food alert. We'll be putting a note out up on our website, etc. We are, for this year will be the first time we're inviting trade along to the event as well. So we're hoping to see a kind of a 2-to-1 ratio where we will have in and around about 100 people from our client companies and about 50 trade representatives. And it's going to be a half-day seminar, morning session. One of the things that we're doing, in addition to the top line figures, we've looked closely at coffee shops and casual dining as 2 channels that are actually, they're holding their own in a market that has been in decline. And over the last 2 weeks, both myself and a guy from Pro and Tal have been out meeting with operators in those 2 channels. So we have had over 20 meetings in the last 2 weeks. And I guess it's the positive news to report is that across the board, they're all reporting, if not holding turnover year-on-year, sales are up. And in particular, the last 3 months, sales have, for the most part of them, sales are up. And I suppose a certain amount of that will reflect the fact that tourist figures are up, and that's been confirmed by CSO. So we will have some good news to report at our seminar on the 16th. We'll be talking about, we're breaking down product categories within those channels. We're looking at what the trends are, what the consumer drivers are, and really where the opportunities are for Irish food and drink suppliers. And again, my contact details, if you don't have them, if you need to contact me, either between now and Marketplace or in advance of the seminar, please do so. Okay, thank you.